What's up? It's your boy E.T. Look, if you're looking to or you got to raise the bar on your marriage, you gotta click the link and get into Married into Crazy, y'all. I'm telling you, this coaching is gonna take your relationship to another level. Now look, you already know you need to raise the bar. You know that already. So stop thinking or overthinking. Click that link, and Marriage into Crazy is gonna take you and your spouse to marital bliss. Now you know. Click the button. Let's go.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
And we want to thank each and every one of you for coming back once again. And you know what? Special kudos to those of you that did come back after listening to me kind of go on one last week, because I ran solo. And if I didn't scare you away, and for those of you that asked, there's nothing wrong with Snooks. She's here. Say hi.
I just said I'm Snooks.
I know. I just want to make sure they know it's not just me holding up a recorder like, oh, I got her voice. No, she's here in full effect. And she was a little gun shy based on, I wanted her to do a solo again. And she was like, nah, I want to do it with you, which is so nice.
You're my better half.
See, as we're preparing for Thanksgiving, as we're preparing for, Valentine's Day, which is the same thing to me because I'm giving thanks for you.
You're going to make me some food and all that?
No, I'm just giving thanks for you.
You know what? That is a correlation. It does tie in. Valentine's Day, you go out to dinner and all that. Now on Thanksgiving, it's about food and stuff.
Every holiday is about food.
Okay.
Every single holiday.
Fair point.
Seems to be about food of some sort. No, but we just wanted to jump on here. So this is going to be a short one as well. And rather than me do all the talking or having Snooks go solo all by herself because she missed me, my boo, I'm going to interview Snooks. But before I go there, I want to remind everybody, if you could, go out and reach out to a friend, talk to a family relative, dial a stranger if you have to. But let them know that they should go on to wherever they get their podcast, specifically Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and wherever. But go ahead and subscribe, leave a rating, and a comment. We truly appreciate that to improve discoverability. We don't ask for money. We don't do any of that. This is not a paid podcast. But our currency is sharing, because sharing is caring, right? And we would love for you to actually share. If you get anything from our conversations, whether it's the interviews, the content experts that we bring on for a variety of different subject matters, or just us when we're telling stories and sharing the things that we've gone through. If you've gotten anything out of that at any point, we're asking that you share it with someone and invite them to subscribe and leave a comment and a rating on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
That's right. Or also, I'm going to say but also when you do go online to our website, check out our RTB, Raise the Bar.
Oh, yeah. So we didn't talk about it enough, but what we've decided going forward, and we're going to talk about this more throughout the year, and especially for Valentine's Day. You heard E.T. talking at the very beginning, hit that button. He's talking about our Raise the Bar program. Raise the Bar is an 18-part video series, very short videos with the workbook that goes along with it. And you pay whatever you want for it. There are no obstacles between you and raising the bar on your relationship. There was a price tag for it and people were purchasing it, but it was on our spirit, it was on our heart, more so hers than mine, that Snooks really wanted to make this available for everyone. So that way there was nothing stopping you from taking your relationship to the next level. Mm-hmm. So go to raisethebarmarriage.com, look at the video testimonials are there from real couples from a variety of different backgrounds that have actually taken the program, and hear what they have to say. Based on what they're saying, think about what it means to you, right? And just go ahead and pay whatever you like so that way you can actually have it. If you want to pay $5,000, $5,000. You want to pay $50?
We're not going to stop them.
You want to pay $25? It's just completely up to you. So that way that we're in this for your relationship, right?
That's right.
So what I would love to do as we're heading into Valentine's Day 2023 is really ask you a few questions. And it's on the same tip as what I talked about last week. If you didn't see it, a very short podcast was about, what it means to be a better husband. I gave 3 tips to being a better husband. And it wasn't just my mindset. It was things that I pulled from previous interviews, right? Conversations that we've had with subject matter experts in the past, but mostly from the husbands. And I tried to look at what were some of the common denominators that kept coming up over and over and over again. And I shared them last week. So what I'm going to ask you is to do the same thing, to pick 3 things or provide 3 tips to being a better wife.
Well,
First off, you're
sorry.
already amazing. There's nothing you could do to make you a better wife.
Okay, you better have said that anyway. Snap, snap. No,
I'm going to say that on air, but I'm going to give you a list afterwards. No, just playing. But no, honestly, let's start there. So, random order. We're going to pick 3 things. So,
well, communication is one thing that's very important, and we talk about, well, we have to be able to compromise, and another one is just being able to be your own self. Being independent, not independent. Let me expound on that. So,
okay, hold on. Let's go
okay,
one by one. Let's not like lump them all together. Let's pick one, and then you dive deep on that, and then we'll move on to the next.
okay.
Which one do you want to go to first?
We could talk about what I mean by being independent.
Independent woman. INDEPEND. Okay, so let's hear what you're talking about.
So what I mean is that, a lot of times I feel like some people, they get into relationships and they lose themselves. It's like now all of a sudden, I mean, you had your own mind prior to the relationship, prior to the marriage, and after you say I do, or once you get into this relationship, you lose who you are. Your thoughts become his thoughts, or his thoughts become your thoughts, or whatever. You don't, it's almost like you can't be your own person. You don't have your own hobbies anymore. Some people, oh, you used to like to roller skate. I'll just throw that one out there, but now you don't, because now you're always with Jed or whatever, doing whatever Jed wants to do.
I was like, who's Jed? Okay. I rolled off your tongue a little too quick, but okay.
But when you lose that independence in the relationship, your own independence in the relationship, it's like you lose your voice in a sense. So even though the two do become one, you still have to maintain some individuality, if that makes sense.
It
Because
does.
I mean, if we're both the same at all the time, and we don't need one of us, you know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about that.
No, that's real talk. That's real talk.
And also, I'm sorry, there have been times in relationships where you have that one that will like overshadows the other person. It's like, oh, it's all about them. It's their show, and you're hanging back in the rafters. Or if that's okay with you, and if that's the type of person that you are, then okay, go for it. But if that's not okay with you, he's out in front and he's always seen, and he's always, it's always about him. It's always about him. Then you can grow to start resenting him, or vice versa. Or it doesn't always have to be him out in the front, but it could be her out in the front. You could start to gain some type of resentment for, I don't want to say posturing, but for him being out, always in the limelight or whatever. It shouldn't be a competition, but you still should have be able to have your own interests, and your own individuality.
I like that. It's funny, as you were saying that, it reminded me of, remember we had a conversation about Ricky Williams and his wife, and
Oh yeah.
And to that point, I cannot remember Ricky Williams, what he changed his name to. Ricky Williams, there was a past podcast, and I should have thought of this beforehand, but because this is kind of like off the cuff, I'm interviewing her on the spot. But Ricky Williams, the episode, I'll have it in the show notes when I figure it out. But to that point, his wife, even though she is a lawyer, she's well established. Whenever they were together, it was like her identity got lost because they wanted to always talk about Ricky Williams, the football player, as opposed to her. So that's why he ended up changing his name,
his last name, to her name.
Correct. Yep. He changed his name to her last name in order to make sure that she wasn't getting lost in the fray,
Mhm.
and that way, her independence is there. And he was so confident in his own authenticity and
I was
his
getting
in his
ready to say that
personality
too.
that he was like, I don't need you to recognize me from my last name. I am who I am.
Mhm. And the other part of that, just the confidence that you get, it gives you a sense of self, number one. But also, if I have something, I'm coming to you, I'm talking about some of my interests or whatever, it keeps the relationship, it keeps the conversation going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In a sense. So it's not everything just shuts down and okay, whatever you say, I'm not barking.
Whatever you like.
Whatever, exactly. But you have to be able to be independent, still maintain who you are.
I love that. No, and that's good. I mean, even like right now with you going through your master's program and the evolution, you got your dual major when you were getting your associates, and then you got your bachelor's degree, and then now you're in your master's for social work program. And it's funny. So we have these really robust conversations because your world is very different from mine. Now we're starting to see some overlap. I brought it up
Oh
earlier
yeah.
today, how
Mhm.
even within healthcare, there's things that social workers do, but it's cool. I love talking to you to learn more about it because it's this completely different world I don't know about. That independence and individuality is there. So that's good. Okay. So maintain your independence is I'm not going to, is this in any sequential order? Is that number one or does it matter?
I don't think so.
Okay. So independence. What is the second tip for being a better wife?
Well, compromising. That's
Hey,
that's
can I just say amen?
that goes
Let the
both
choir.
ways, bruh.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted.
No, that's okay. Being able to compromise, it's not just the Lovey show, you know,
Right.
or the Ernie show or the Ernest show.
All my different Uncle E, all these
Oh,
different
exactly.
personalities
Right,
to
right,
that.
right.
Right.
I mean, you have to be able to, we always say the ebb and flow. There's a yin and the yang. Um, we move through this relationship together and we have to be able to make agreements, have some mutual grounds, and in compromising too, it makes me think about you grow respect for each other.
Hmm.
You know, it's not just your way or the highway. I know that some people may have that thought process. No, you're gonna do what I say, and you're gonna do it the way I want it done, and blah blah blah. But no, what if I don't like that? It shouldn't never be. It's just the one person. It's being able to all right, I concede. I'll let you have that one. Not keeping score though. Not keeping score, but just being able to say, all right, you're right. You have this one or whatever. However it is that you guys do your compromising. I can't say, well, you should compromise on this or you should compromise. There are big things and there are small things that people compromise about.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Okay. So putting you on the spot, you said
No, I do
compromise.
not. Not playing.
No, you said compromise. What
Mhm.
is the difference between, or is there a difference between compromising and yielding?
I knew
Because
that was going to come up. I knew
because
that was going to come up.
when we talk about crazy,
Mhm.
crazy stands for compassionate, being more compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding.
Mhm.
That's what we say when we're talking about being married into crazy.
Mhm.
Yielding to me is always kind of akin to compromising. I wonder, do you have a distinction between the two?
Um, there probably is some type of distinction, but for me, I don't necessarily look at it like that. Well, okay, no, let me take that back. Let me take that back. Shit, nah, 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 nah. I don't take it back. No, I think they're one and the same
Okay.
basically because when I'm compromising, that means I'm giving up or I'm conceding on a certain thing that I want. There has to be a point of reference for there to be, there's a differencing point of reference. So I feel one way, you feel one way. So now we're compromising and we're doing either what you say or what we're doing what I say, or maybe we'll just do something totally different. In a sense, it's still yielding, even if we do something totally different because I didn't do the thing that I wanted to do.
But
Does that make sense?
it does, but so that feels another question. So is compromise is it all or nothing? Meaning like it's 100% your way, it's 100% my way. What
No,
can it be like
that's why it's called
60-40?
compromise.
Can it be like, you know what, 60% of my idea or 60% of your idea, 40% mine, or maybe 70 yours, 30 mine?
Yeah,
Or
it's compromise is fluid. It's not. It's so you can't be rigid in your compromising. I don't think.
okay.
You have to be able to be flexible. There's some wiggle room. And like I said, it's never one specific way that you compromise. So
Okay. I'm just
I,
asking.
I compromised and did this. No, I'm playing.
I heard that. What I heard, just to kind of recap, is that when it comes to compromise, it's similar. It's synonymous with yielding,
I
right?
believe that.
And that it should be 70-30, where you should be compromised. Like it should always be 70% Lovey, 30% Snooks when it comes to a compromise.
Mm,
That's what I heard.
that's what you heard.
That's what I
Okay.
heard.
Well,
And I'm sticking
we
to it.
did say that we got to check your ears.
True.
So
Yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay,
story.
that's good. Okay, so so far two things. One was maintaining your independence.
Mhm.
Second one was
Being able to compromise.
being able to compromise.
Mhm.
All right. And so what's your third one?
Communication. That's probably should have been number one, but I feel like communication is the key to so many things. You know, how we communicate, what we communicate about. Um, that's so important because everything for me boils down to communication. And there's good communication, there's bad communication. Um, how do you talk to each other?
That's
You
a
can.
good point. Because we talk about communication is the key to all things, but like you said, there can be good communication.
Mhm.
There's such thing as bad communication. So don't just it's not just a blanket statement of communication. So yeah, I assume you're talking about good productive communication.
Yeah, you have to be. It has to be good, productive communication, because misunderstandings come from. I feel like this is just me. Misunderstandings come from lack of communication. You know, it could be bad communication, or you're not listening, or whatever it is. When anything that comes up, we have to be able to talk about it.
Okay.
You can't hold grudges. You can't, I'm just going to keep it all in and then I'm blowing up and, you know, what are you talking about? You can't do that kind of stuff,
But well, you know what? If I'm throwing a vase across the room and calling out your name, that's still communicating.
Yeah, I said good and bad.
Okay. I'm just making sure we
Wow.
we underline that. We underline that so people get it.
No,
Snooks and Lovey said, I'm supposed to communicate. I just throwing knives.
You when you communicate, it's sharing of ideas, right? Communication is sharing of ideas. There's verbal communication, there's nonverbal communication. When I non-verbally, you know what I'm thinking when I give you a look or I give you a touch or whatever. I'm communicating. So you have to be able to know how to resolve conflicts, know how to uh, be nice and say I'm sorry. I mean,
Why you touch me when you said you touched my shoulder like you have to learn how to be nice?
I don't mean it like that.
I don't know. That was like you didn't touch me no other time, but that cue was there.
I touch you all the time.
I think that was subliminal.
Ever. No. I'm just saying, communication is one thing about communication is everyone communicates differently. So it's very important to learn how your partner communicates, how they like to receive information, how they give information, because a lot of arguments stem from not understanding how your partner communicates.
I like that.
Because you'll say something and I'm like, what? Or I'll say something or I'll look at you, you're like, what? And then it could be all bad. But we've learned how to talk to one another, like I said, verbally and non-verbally. So we have to be able to be open. You have to be honest. You have to be able to say, hey, this is what's bothering me, blah, 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 whatever. On the flip side, it has to be a safe space too. Your partner has to allow, I won't say allow, but make it a safe space to be able to talk about whatever it is that's going on. Because not being able to say what's on your mind, or not, for fear of retaliation, or it's going to be a big old argument, I'm not even about to do all that, that's miscommunication. That's bad communication by not having any at all,
I like that.
So one thing too, I want to say, a lot of times when we're communicating and we say, I was just telling you, I'm only saying it because I was just telling you,
I'm just
you know,
keeping it real.
let's make sure that when we are communicating and you're only telling me, or I'm just saying that it's not the nagging though, you know, because that is, let me just put this out there too. Women are not the only people who nag. Men are nags also, you know, not
Wow.
taking shots.
I don't know. That felt like a
I'm
shot.
no, I'm just
Look, I'm
saying.
just gonna put it out there too. Like, I'm like, wait,
I
hold
say
up.
I say that because there are some people who's like, oh my gosh, if he tell me that one more time, oh my gosh, if she say blah blah blah, you know, nagging comes in different forms. So if I tell you something and you hear what I say, or you act like you don't hear me or whatever, I know you heard me. I don't need to keep telling you, you know, or the same thing, you tell me something. That's like, I feel like as parent, a lot of us in relationships, I know everyone's not, but a lot of us in relationships, a lot of us are parents. So we take that because we tell our kids over and over and over, I told you to do this. I told you to do that. I told you blah, blah, blah. Da, 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 da. And so we take that same mode and we do that with our spouses, our partners, or even, you know, maybe if you don't have children, maybe you own a business. And so you're always telling your employees, why are you looking at me like that?
I'm like, I'm getting lectured now.
No, you're
No,
not.
no, I know this is good. I need to hear this as well because I know I'm guilty.
But I'm saying if you're used to telling, you know, people what to do, make sure that you don't come home and it and insult your partner in a sense,
Hmm.
you know, because the repetitive, I already said it, I told you, I told you, I told you, I told you, I told you. Now it could build up resentment because you're like, I ain't finna do that at all because I already know. I'm just gonna let it sit there. Or
But what if something needs to get done and it just doesn't get done because
so if something needs to get done that doesn't get done, you could do it. It's okay
okay,
because we're not keeping score, right?
not keeping score.
Okay. I didn't like how you said that.
No, not keeping score.
I
I'm
did
like,
not
okay,
like that.
if it gets done by the spouse, just don't go behind the spouse saying I didn't like the way it was done. I'm just saying.
I do that.
I'm just saying.
But
That's why I don't clean the bathrooms.
that is not why you don't clean the bathroom. No, that probably is why. I ain't even gonna get on here and be acting like I don't do that.
No, but this is good stuff. I'm really glad you're sharing this. This is good. This is no, no.
You made me
Honestly,
feel bad.
no, no. I'm just playing with you. But no, this is really good. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This was the top 3 tips that came from a variety of different interviews. When it came to what are the top 3 things you can do to be a better wife. Last week, I talked about, just went solo, top 3 things to be a better husband. So we hope you enjoy these.
And let me just say this also. It's not, don't take it and be like, oh, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. This is from my perspective, you know.
Well, it's not
This
just
is
your
one
perspective,
of
but it's also from a variety of couples over the last 3 years.
and it is, but I'm saying that's these 3 are not the only, because they're interchangeable. You know, honestly though,
others.
I'm gonna keep communication up there. That's key. That's very key, I believe. So
I know that when it came to my last week, the one that was
actually,
very
they didn't
close,
compromise too.
a 4th one or a bonus would have been vulnerability.
Very, because they tie into,
They do.
you know,
Yeah.
they really tie into.
Especially talking about communication, you have to be vulnerable. If you're gonna have good communication, honest, open, transparent, some of that hot communication, you have to be vulnerable.
And
right?
at the same time, you have to be allowed a space to exercise that vulnerability, you know.
Thought about creating a safe space where I can feel
Mhm.
like I can communicate. So this was good. I appreciate it. So I'm taking notes because let's
You
be
didn't write
honest,
nothing down. I'm just playing.
the 3 things I talked about last week, what Snooks is talking about this week, it's not just about being a better husband or a better wife.
It's about being a better partner.
Amen. Being a better partner so you can be a better couple. And that's what it comes down to. When people are celebrating Valentine's Day, you know, every February, it's supposed to be love 365, not just one day.
Why you say it like that every February?
Well, because everybody knows how I feel that it
Mhm.
shouldn't just be one day.
I agree with you on that. But for those people who don't get it, they only get one day.
Amen. Hey, get your day.
Get your day.
Get your day. That's like another language. Get your day. I'm like, what's your name? Get your day. I'm get your day casing. What does that mean? I'm gonna get my day. That's what it means.
Get your neck cases.
Get your day casing. Get your day. So look, hey, sorry, we're getting a little squirrely right now. Like I hope y'all had you got some value out of this particular podcast. We're looking forward to. There's still a little bit of a snag. We had some interviews lined up, but we're hitting some delays because hey, guess what? They're human,
And they're getting their day.
and they're getting their day, and their day will come. No, but there's things that change, and we have to reschedule all of that. So you might get a heavier dose of us as opposed to these other individuals that we had lined up, but you will get them eventually. So it's a matter of making sure we do some rescheduling for some of these couples.
Yep.
So make sure, tell a friend, have them leave a review. We want you to leave a review. We want you to actually leave a comment, as well as a rating as well. So you don't get out of that. That's it. That's all. That's that's all. Clock said. There's a saying that Rochelle used to always say. There were some other people too. I was like, TikTok. That's all. I don't even remember how it goes. Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point.
I have no
Look,
idea.
until the next time.
Be blessed.
Bye.
Bye bye.